Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Basic Latina podcast, an intimate conversation with friends about love, life, wellness, and everything in between. This week, I sat down with Debra Fountain. She is the owner and founder of Lifer Fitness Studio in West Hartford. Debra and I met back in March, actually, when a friend of mine, Stacy, did a sip and spin social event for women of color in her studio, and I was so blown away by Debra's studio. Lifer Fitness is so beautiful, and Debra has an amazing aura around her, and she was such a great instructor. So I knew that I had to have her on the podcast because I wanted everyone to kind of hear about how Lifer Fitness started, and I wanted her to talk about her passion for fitness. Debra shares a lot about her journey. She started her fitness journey over 17 years ago, and she has kind of dipped her hands into everything. She's taught different group fitness classes such as kickboxing, body pump, Zumba, Insanity, body sculpt, spinning, and bar. She focuses a lot on spinning, muscle toning in all of her classes. She also wants to help women kind of feel better about themselves inside and out. And she has been married to the love of her life for 29 years. They actually just celebrated their anniversary. So congratulations, Debra. And she has 4 beautiful children. One of her daughters was actually at the event taking pictures, and another one of her daughters lives in Boston right now, and she does her social media. So I think the Lifer Fitness Studio in general is a family affair. So you'll actually be hearing Stacy. She's going to be giving us a little clip of how her experience was working with Debra, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that Sip and Spin event. So I hope you really enjoy my conversation with Debra and the audio from Stacy as well. Thank you so much for listening. Hi, Debra. Thank you for taking the time out to sit with me today. I know you just had a morning full of classes.
Yes, taught 2 classes, 1 hour of cycle, followed by, and it's an hour of weightlifting. We spend about 5 minutes per muscle group, and the whole idea is to go to muscle failure. And I love it because that's one of the things I think women, we will walk, we will run, we will cycle, but man, lifting weights is hard, something hard to do. Not hard, it's hard to stay consistent. If you go to most gyms, you see women go to the group fitness room and men go to the weights. I'm not saying that happens all the time, but we tend to do far more cardio than we do weightlifting.
Absolutely.
So, and muscle is just like crazy. I call it the fountain of youth. It's it will change your body. I say cardio changes the size of your body. Weights change the shape of your body.
I definitely feel like this is important for us to talk about because there's a whole lot of people who probably feel uncomfortable going to their home gym, and then they see all the guys in the weightlifting part.
Right.
And because they're women, they're just like, I don't want to work out.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. And you know what? The men make you feel like, what are you doing over here? Sometimes I've been at gyms where they watch you. They want to see what you're lifting, and they want to see your form. And so I get why we shy away from weight. So I created this class called Lift, and we just slow it down, and we popular class.
Okay.
People like to get the cardio and the weights all in 1 hour, so that would be the most popular. And Lift is getting there. I could only get 10 people in the room, and I usually get 10 for every class.
That's awesome.
So it's definitely creeping up there.
Would your recommendation be that if somebody wants to lose weight or change their body, that they need to do both cardio and strength?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And they're equal to me. I think you should do just as much weightlifting as you do cardio. Because as you lose the weight, your size is changing, but your shape isn't.
Right.
And I was a personal trainer before group fitness, and I would have people come in who've lost 100 pounds and say, okay, now what do I do with this skin? And I'm like, man, I wish you had come to me as you were losing weight. We were putting muscle on at the same time. Because, sometimes you don't need to lose 100 pounds. You start to look good as you're putting muscle on. As you're losing fat at the same time, your body's changing. You're like, I'm good at 50 pounds.
So that's not a myth that you can't do both, that you have to, because most people think that you have to lose weight first and then gain the muscle.
That's a myth. I highly recommend that you put muscle on. Because actually, as you're putting muscle on, you're speeding up your metabolism. And muscle burns fat when you're resting. I tell my class all the time, my favorite thing in the world to do is to burn fat while I'm resting. The beautiful thing about muscle is after you work out, 8 hours later, your body is burning fat at an accelerated rate.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So cardio, you're burning fat while you're working out. But as soon as you stop, you're done. Muscle, however, 8 hours later, you're still burning fat.
Is that why when people are lifting weights, the next day they're really sore?
Sore is good. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But that's your body repairing. And that's the amazing part about the body. As it repairs, it takes a lot of energy to repair. All that energy is burning fat. So sore is good. Sore is good.
I think, sore is good. To me, if I'm not sore the next day from working out, I feel like I didn't do anything.
Well, I mean, that's a myth. Just because you're sore, I don't get sore anymore. I lift so much. I very seldom. However, if I do something completely different, like I lift as heavy as I possibly can. Sometimes I'm not sore. But if I go and do something like a run, I'm crazy sore the next day.
Wow.
So
your body's conditioned right now to get used to you working out every day, right? Because you have your business.
Yes.
So you don't get sore the next day.
I don't get sore from lifting. Now, if I did a kettlebell workout, that might do something different to my body. But just bicep curls, and I go to muscle failure, I'm not always sore the next day. So you can't, they don't always go hand in hand, sore. And the more conditioned you are, probably the less sore you're going to be. And I do it every day, pretty much.
My mind is blown because I really thought that sore, if I wasn't sore, I'm like, I didn't do anything yesterday.
No way. Because I taught 2 hours a day. I won't be sore.
And how do you determine that you did work, quote unquote? Is it just doing it?
I go to muscle failure, which means I lift as heavy as I can with good form until I can't lift anymore. I go as high or as heavy as I can safely. To drop the weight, you probably have disengaged your core, and now it's just the form is just jacked up. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like that. That's why I like to teach group fitness lifting class, because I can get you to failure in a safe environment, because I'm constantly checking form. I'm not going to let you do 50 reps and your form is awful. I'm going to maybe do 25. That's all you can do. But your form will be good the whole time. So.
Right. And you're speaking from a lot of experience.
I used to bodybuild, actually. Yeah. I did 2 bodybuilding contests long after my third child, a while ago.
Okay.
But I was teaching in Gold's gym in Washington, D.C.
Okay. And
it was funny. This guy says, "Wow, you look like you ready to compete." And I'm like, "What? Really?"
Wow.
I'm like, "Well, it's nice, but I have 3 babies. I got stretch marks." So he was like, "If you get a 6-pack, people won't even see the stretch marks." I'm like, "You think I can get a 6-pack?" He's like, "Absolutely." So he started training me. And I got a 6-pack. And my baby was 3. So at the time, my kids were 3, 6, and 10. And I competed in my first, I was 37. Everybody that I competed against was in their 20s and had no kids. But I came in 4th place out of 14.
Go ahead,
yeah.
yes.
So I got a big trophy, and I was like, "Oh, I'm hooked on muscle."
That's awesome.
So muscle for me is magic.
So it was that one person in Gold's Gym who told you, you can totally do this, and you could be in these competitions, and you could do what these other people are doing.
I didn't know you could get a 6-pack after having 3 babies.
Wow, look at that.
I didn't know that. I didn't see that in my family. I didn't see that in my aunts. I didn't see women who had 3 kids. Now, I know they existed, and I know that other bodybuilders, but I didn't think regular people I was a regular mom could get a 6-pack. And so I got on this really good diet, and I started lifting heavy, and I got a 6-pack. I did. And when he said it without a doubt, "Yeah, you could get a 6-pack." I'm like, "Really? You think I can?
Right.
Even after all these babies?" And yes, I do. Wow. I totally do. And he said, "You know what? You'll never look at food the same way again. It'll be fuel. It won't be." And I'm like, "You know what? I'm doing the contest just to change my idea or my feelings about food." And he's so true now. Like today I had just one big chicken breast for breakfast. I'm eating it in the car Food is fuel to me. And
I just imagine you in the car with a turkey, literally driving with a turkey breast.
I was, and I'm like, food to me. Now I love food. I love going out to eat, but it's important that I get protein in my body first thing in the morning. And he was right. He was right. Mm-hmm. Food is fuel. I knew it's about what I need to eat to teach my class. It doesn't have to taste good, not necessarily for me. For me. And he was right. That contest, just the training for the contest, changed my whole look about food. I know that to maintain muscle, that I need so much protein. And so that's 15 years ago.
I was just going to ask, at that time, how long was it? You said 15 years ago, and you were in your 30s. How was your body type? Because I think a lot of people, when they look at bodybuilders, say, that's genetic. Like, their body, they're already kind of predisposed to have that kind of body. Did you?
I was just a regular, really, when I say regular, I'm talking regular woman. I was curvy, but I was still a little.
And were you a personal trainer, or were you just working out at Gold's?
I was just working out. I was a personal trainer first. That's what I did. And actually, I came into personal training because I wanted to stay home and raise my kids. I didn't want to work outside of the home.
Okay.
That's where I came. My degree is in finance. I was in sales. Mm-hmm. After my second child, I said, I don't want somebody else to raise my kids.
Yeah.
I'll sacrifice one income, and I'll sacrifice the company car and the money.
Right.
But I just knew I had to raise my kids. And I'm not saying anything about anybody else.
Right.
All my friends are working moms. My mom was a working mom. Mm-hmm. It was something about, I'm like, I need to be home with these kids.
And this was in D.C.?
This was in New Jersey when this happened.
Okay.
We've moved a lot.
Okay.
So I quit my job. My husband was not happy with that, okay? He was not happy at the time. But I said, I just know that this is good for our family. Because I think if we sacrifice now for these kids, that they'll be better adults. Yeah. And I'm like, I'd rather give up some things right now, gym membership, and raise them. And then when they're teenagers and adults, they'll be grounded, and they're kind kids. Aww. They're good kids.
That's awesome.
And so the sacrifice then to me is worth it today. Mm-hmm. And where that came from, I could only say that's God, because I didn't see that growing up. All the women in my family worked. I have 4 sisters. They're working moms. It's something that I just thought but I know why. I was home with the kids, and I'm like, I'm not really liking this stay-at-home mom thing like I thought. But I'm not going back in the workforce. Okay. But I kind of lost my identity. I'm a college graduate, but I was just changing diapers and emptying the dishwasher. And I'm like, I need something else.
Right.
So I started just working out in my living room. And I actually got this VHS. I'm really dating myself.
I still have VHS in my house.
Oh,
too.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
The name of the series of tapes was called The Firm.
I've seen
The Firm.
Yeah,
See?
Yeah. But did you work out because you wanted to lose weight, or and tone your body, or you were like bored, quote unquote?
I was bored.
Okay.
I needed to lose because I had a 6-month-old baby, so I had baby fat. But I was really like, I need a project, I need that project to be me.
Yes.
I'm not wallpapering. I'm not crafty.
Yes.
I need a project. Project Debra.
Yes.
And I made me my project. So I'm like, what can I do? There were so many things I couldn't do. I couldn't afford to go to the gym. My husband was working in New York, so I was home with these 2 babies in a cul-de-sac, like going crazy. So I started working out just to get rid of the baby fat. And at the time it says guaranteed results in 10 workouts or less. And I was like, I'm going to get these 10 workouts over because I know I'm not going to see anything. But I worked out 10 workouts, and I saw muscle that I'd never seen before.
Get out.
I didn't even know it existed. Like my deltoids, my shoulders. I'm like, wow. So this was in the fall. By spring, I could not fit any of my summer clothes from the year before.
Wow.
I could not fit any clothes. My body had changed, and I was done.
You were hooked. That's it.
I was hooked, and I was like, women don't know what muscle can do. How about this? Regular women. I knew bodybuilders knew.
Right.
But regular women like me can put this kind of muscle on in the living room with the dumbbells that I had. I didn't have like a big gym.
Right.
I would just move the couch and the table out of the way and lift my weights in my living room and change my body.
And the firm was kind of like those insanity, like
yes,
but back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was they had, and I just became hooked. I mean, I saw muscle in my arm, definition in my leg. So you're saying, was I genetically? I found out. I didn't know. I didn't know, and I'm not saying I was not a genetic freak but I didn't know you could put that kind of muscle on. I didn't know you could get arms like that. I didn't know you could get definition in your quads like I got. So I think it happened quite by accident.
Yeah.
And
you must have got the pep in your step that spring, huh?
Oh my gosh, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. And so shortly after that, I started teaching group fitness in Gold's Gym. Okay. And that's when my trainer approached me and said, "You're ready to compete." I'm like, "Really?" Wow. I never, ever, ever, ever thought about competing.
How long were you a personal trainer before you became, before you started competing in the bodybuilding?
Probably about 3 years.
Wow, that's not a lot.
I started, because you get kind of, fast forward, I started bringing women into my home, training them in my home. Okay. Because I didn't want to leave the house. I wanted to raise my kids. And before you know it, we moved from New Jersey. We moved to D.C. Before you know it, I had 60 clients in my working amount a week. It was a full-time job. Wow. And
since you had your degree in marketing and business? Finance. You did you have that mindset of like, I know what to do in order to get these women to my house, in order to be lucrative?
I knew how to handle my money. I was very good with my money. Yeah, so I knew money well. But I have to be honest, the advertisement came from my own personal body and my clients. People would say, "Man, you got 3 kids? What do you do?" "I'm a personal trainer." "Okay, I want to sign up." So, or my clients that lost weight, and I was really, I was strict about muscle, putting muscle on women and their diets. So when you came to me, all we did was lift weights. I gave you an assignment. You go do cardio on your own. Because I thought women will do cardio. I need you to run so many miles a week or a day, and I need you to eat like this. Right. But when you come to my house, we're just lifting weights. That's all we're doing. And I was changing bodies, and you wanted that. So that's kind of how I when I was teaching, when I was training in my house, it was just monotonous. So I'm like, I got to get out of the house, and then that's why I started group fitness. To get out to the gym and be around my peers. Because when you're training at home, it's just you and the client. You and the client, you and the client. And you want to know what's happening in the industry. So for me, that's why I started group fitness, to get out of my house and actually fell in love with group fitness and stop personal training.
Did you, when you were doing personal training in your home, were you targeting a certain type of woman?
I wasn't. It was totally word of mouth, I gotta tell you. This was before social media blew up.
That's crazy.
It was. Wow. I did not have an Instagram, a Facebook. Right. I had a business card, and my picture was on the card. That was my advertisement. That's period. Amazing. And what I would do was just anybody that wanted to train, I would put them on the list. I wasn't telling anybody no. That's why it grew. Right. And it was intimate, and it was one-on-one, and I think women liked the fact that I had the kids and it was safe environment, and they saw me lose the weight. I got big with every pregnancy, so they knew this is somebody that's walking the walk and talking the talk. Wow. And
so then you went from personal training to then loving group fitness.
Loving group fitness, because it takes on a whole nother energy. When it's personal training, I'm the cheerleader cheering you on. Okay. When you're in group fitness, there's an energy in the room that you really it's just there. And you feed off of each other. And I love that more than I did the one-on-one. Yeah. One-on-one, I am not a therapist, but that's what you become.
It's true.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
That's why I could never do therapy. On Saturdays I would train like 8 people. When I say 8 in a row, that would be 8 hours. And that's taking on 8 people's different problems and their baggage, whatever they come to. Yeah. And you wear that, and after they would leave, I would just, and I'm not throwing any of my clients under the bus because I love them. But you just become a sponge.
Yes.
And you can't, and I'm not good at setting boundaries. If something's going on in your life, then I'm with you and I'm crying with you. So we're suffering together, and I didn't know how to draw the line between being, more. I should have gone to school for therapy, because I'm sure there is some technique that therapists use so that they don't because you can't do your job.
No.
And so that's I got burnt out with personal training.
Yeah.
It was just too heavy after a while.
Because what group fitness said, maybe allows everyone else in the room to take some accountability for their peers in the room as well.
Right. And you're right. That's exactly what happens. And you don't get as in depth, in people's. And it's not that I don't want to get in anybody's problem, but in order for me to do my job and do it well, I have to kind of stay neutral.
Yeah, it's true.
And so I'm so much better as a group. I'm your best cheerleader in a group fitness setting.
Are you better at setting boundaries now?
I am better. Good. Yes, definitely better. And again, people don't divulge as much personal. I do hear some stuff. Don't get me wrong. That'd be like, whoa, that is a way too much information.
Right.
But it's all cool. It's all good. Yeah.
So when did Lifer Fitness when was the birth of Lifer Fitness, and how did you create that? And what happened for you to think like, wow, now I want to take this show on the road on my own and open my own studio?
I think, honestly, I would love to say that this is what I wanted to do as a little girl. I always wanted, but no, that's not how my dream came to be. And it's going to sound weird, because again, I never wanted to open a studio until probably about 4 years ago. This is not a lifelong dream. Mm-hmm. The lifelong dream is doing what I love to do. Yeah. And I let the universe, I'm like, if it's baking, let it be baked. I don't care. I just want to love it. Yeah. And it happened to be fitness. So the name Lifer came to be in Washington, D.C. I had all of these clients that when they got to their goal, and they were measurable. We weigh you, I measure your body, and when you get to a goal, because everybody's getting to their goal on my watch, then you're free to go. You pay me to get you to lose 20 pounds. You want to do this, or weddings, brides wanted to look good for their weddings, and everybody had a goal. Yeah. Once we reached the goal, it's like, now what do you want to do? And they would say, I'm not going anywhere. I want to continue with my 9:30 every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'm not giving up my spot. I'm like, you're a lifer. And then that's where the name came from. Wow. I love that. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, I'm a lifer. So I had these group of women who became lifers. That's awesome. And it was a joke, kind of like, once you got to your goal, and it's like, okay, do you, and 9:30 was a coveted spot. Like, once you gave up that 9:30, I had a wait list for 9:30s and 6 a.m.s. Mm-hmm. So those people never left. They just came. They would still be coming today. If I was in business in D.C., they would still be coming because, and I get it, I took care of that part of their life for them. Yeah. They knew they needed to work out. They know they wanted to look and feel good, but they were struggling with being consistent. And I was the consistency. Like, it was an appointment. I see Deb at this time every week. She's going to take care of that. Even if I fall off the wagon, she's going to get me back on. And so they became lifers. So when this place, when the name, I was trying to think of a name. I said, I don't want something like, and this is nothing against Google, but I didn't want some name that I'm like, I want it to be simple and it has a meaning. And just one day it's like, Lifer. Because Lifer is an individual and it's also a group. And it's a group that you want to belong to. Oh. Like when I would call my clients lifers, they were proud. Yes, I'm a lifer. Right. Yeah. So this name came 23 years ago, really. Wow. Yeah. Before the studio, which is the studio will be 3 years old this July. Okay. So it's my name, and it fits. So you said, how did I,
How did it start?
it really is a journey from that one day that I bought that firm VHS.
Yeah.
And was working out in my home.
Yeah.
Even I can go further than that. Before, when I decided to be a stay-at-home mom, I think life first started to develop. Because it's a one thing that I do, and I've been doing it 20-something years, that I never get tired of.
Yeah.
I have never not wanted to teach a class. I never get bored. I'm excited to teach all the time. And so I knew whatever I do in this life, it's going to be something in fitness.
Right.
And so I was having a big birthday, and I met a person that wanted to open up a studio in West Hartford, Cycle. We started working together. They fell apart. We fell apart. She went her way, and I went to Lifer. And that experience, although it was very traumatizing at the time, I have since then said, I'm so glad and grateful that happened.
So you were going to open something with this person in West Hartford, and because that fell apart, you opened your own thing. That's awesome.
So, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I need. It is my vision. I don't have to, not that I wouldn't work with somebody, but it is exactly what I wanted it to be. And you have to be evenly yoked with a business partner, or it won't work. And one thing I did learn from that experience is if it don't fit, don't force it.
No.
I know that's a song. If it's not fit, then it's not meant to be.
And when you opened Lifer Fitness, were you concerned, like, I need someone else to open it with me? Or were you okay with doing it on your own?
No. I was nervous about the business side.
Okay.
It's like somebody who loves to bake and then open a bakery. It's like, that's so much more work.
It is.
I just want to teach. That's what I love to do.
You're right.
But the business side of this whole thing, payroll, and I got an LLC and insurance, and, that's just like, I wanted somebody else to do that part. Let me just do what I love to do.
Right.
And the business side, you know what? I dreaded it because I didn't want it to take away from what I love to do. Yeah. And I'm like, if the business ever drains me and I don't want to be here, then, what a shame. Because fitness is like it's my spirit. It's my calling. And I thought the business would drag me down.
What part of the business were you concerned about? Like maintaining a studio and being able to like pay yourself and pay the bills?
Absolutely. Okay. That was definitely a concern. And I never wanted to see when I was doing personal training in my home, I didn't have any overhead. Oh, yeah. So it's lovely. I was in a bubble, and then to come out and have rent and insurance and again in payroll and all the things, taxes. Right. It's so many things that you gotta have that it would have kept me from even starting. Right. But that first experience made me say, I'm gonna do this whole thing. I can do the whole thing. Right. And it pushed me off the cliff, kinda.
Wow. You did it by yourself.
I did it by myself. So I knew what to do. I knew everything because I started with opening this other business. I knew what I needed to do. And it wasn't as daunting as it felt from before. Okay. Once you get in, next step comes the next step. And before you know it, you look back, wow, I'm all in now. Wow. So I would tell anybody that wants to start a business, and if they're like scared to death because there's so many steps, start with step 1. Then go to step 2. Then go to step 3. By the time you get to step 8,000, you're already in. You're so in that it's really one step at a time. And find somebody that's doing it. What you want to do. Find someone that's already doing what you want to do, and talk to them. Okay,
and see what get advice from them.
And what's the first step should I take? That would be my question. If I wanted to open a studio before this one, I would say, what's the first step? Because then the first step is the most important step. And once you make the first step, the second step is obvious.
What do you think your first step, or maybe a first step for someone is if they want to open a business?
First of all, check your soul.
Yeah.
Don't ask anybody anything. You get in a quiet room. For me, I pray and meditate every morning. I don't make a move without asking God. Because you got to be thick-skinned in this business.
Right.
And you got to be doing it for the right reason.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to say, even if I don't get paid, I still got to do this thing.
Yeah.
It can't be for the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to have that. I'm going to do it every day. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
You have to love it.
You have to love it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to eat, drink, sleep, do this thing.
Right.
And I knew fitness was that thing for me.
Right.
I knew that. I'm like, I don't know where it's going to take me up. And I have been up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. But it's been a constant in my life. And I knew I would never get tired of it.
Yeah.
And I knew I could bring that part to the business. Mm-hmm. But the first step would be, let me make sure that this is what I really want to do and why I want to do it.
Right.
And
so some soul searching.
Do some soul searching. Make sure it's not, money cannot be the first thing on the list.
Yeah.
It cannot be. And I know that you want it to be.
Right. You're like, I really hope that this can make me money. And
but that can't be the first.
Yeah. It
cannot be the first. It has to be that, find out if you love it enough to do it for free.
Mm.
That's hard. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And then you want to see who's your support group. You got to have, because my husband is amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He is my number one supporter. And so I knew I had that. Mm-hmm. And then my kids are older now. My baby's 13. I have 4 kids, 27, 23, 20, and 13. Mm-hmm. So my baby's 13. A little bit less hands-on. He's going to high school next year. I'm still in there, but if this was 20 years ago when I had the baby, I couldn't have done this with the babies. Because remember, I wanted to stay home with my kids.
Right.
I'm doing the exact opposite now. I'm working. Like, I'm a working mom now. I spend a lot of time here. So I knew my family was ready. I knew my husband would support me. Mm-hmm. I knew I would do this thing for free. I was going to, even if I didn't open Lifer, I would be teaching somewhere.
Right.
And so those were the first questions I asked myself.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of people to talk to who were doing what I'm doing. No one in my family. I'm the first entrepreneur. I'm the first to go to college in my entire family.
Wow.
I'm the first entrepreneur. And that was another thing. I wanted to show, I have a host of nieces and nephews. There's 6 children, 6 siblings. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of kids. But I wanted to show my siblings and my nieces and my nephews, there's another way besides going to college and working for somebody else. Right. There is something else you can do. So the responsibility was also to show my kids too that if you're passionate about something,
absolutely,
and you can do it, So I had that too. But I didn't have anybody to ask except for, again, my faith is really strong and I don't do anything down to even marrying my husband. I was like, God, if you don't want me to marry him, don't. And we'll be married 29 years tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So he told me, God told me, basically I was turning 50 and...
Debra. I cannot.
I know.
Wow.
I was turning 50, so I'm not there anymore. But I said, I said, it's time for me to move. I'm too comfortable. I was teaching 5 classes a week.
Okay.
So that was keeping my body shape. I was not personal training. And I'm like, it's time for me to move. I'm too comfortable. But I was terrified at that.
Wow.
Because in order to grow, you have got to suffer.
I've heard that before.
Oh, it is no joke.
Okay.
It is real. If you want to make a move, if you want to grow, there's some pain you're going to have to endure. And I sat there saying, oh my gosh, do I really? Life is good. I'm teaching my 5 classes a week. I'm good. But I couldn't remain in that spot any longer. It was too much for me to do. I said, you know what? So when I was talking to one of my friends about, it's time for me to move and it's going to be in fitness. And then she said, well, what else is there left? There's so much fitness out there. What else? Right. And I said, until every woman on this planet is happy and content with their bodies, then there's work to be done.
Right.
And I don't have to be all things to everybody, But there are some women who don't feel good about their bodies. And my job or my calling is to make you feel good about the skin that you're in.
Right.
And so I just told the universe, look, I know I got to move. I know that I'm too safe. I know that I have stuff to give, but I just want one request. I don't care what it is. As long as I keep doing more, I want to do more of what I'm already doing.
Yeah.
I didn't want a whole shift in my life. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to stay in fitness. And shortly after that, I met someone who wanted to go into business. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is what because I want to do fitness. Open a studio is perfect. It's my personal training thing on a little bit bigger scale. Because, again, it's a small studio. I can get 20 people in cycle, 10 people in bar. I can get 20 people kickboxing. It's still small, but I like that intimacy. Mm-hmm. I've taught classes where I've had 50 people. You lose something to me. I like small.
It's a big
intimate.
class.
It is. And I've taught a cycle class in we call them box gyms. There were 58 bikes, and I would get 58 people. It's, that's not my favorite thing to do, believe it or not. I like that I got 20 people, and I can make eye contact with everybody. So
when you selected the studio and the space, it sounds like you were intentional. You knew you wanted it to be intimate.
Yes.
And you selected the types of workouts based on what's worked for you and what you think is going to be appealing to people.
Yes.
Because you do cardio, kickboxing, bar, spinning, yoga?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are, I teach everything but yoga.
Okay.
But those were all the things. You need cardio, you need weight training, and you need to stretch in yoga.
That's true.
And so I'm like, those components, they work. The only thing that's missing that I would like to add, and I'm not well versed on that, is diet. I'd like to, I give advice based on what I eat, but I would love, that's the part that I would love, that I did as a personal trainer for my clients. Mm-hmm. I designed the diets for them. Mm-hmm. And you need all that. You need cardio, you need weights, you need diet, and you need stretching. And when I personal train, I would say, if you can't commit to all four, then go back home. And when you're ready, come and see me. Because the diet has to come. You got to do everything at the same time. You can't say, oh, I'm going to work out, but I don't like to eat right. Well, I can't train you.
So it sounds like we really need to be focusing on 4 things when we are losing weight: stretching, cardio, weight, and diet.
Yes. And then the stretching part, I like yoga because it quiets the mind. And I like the mind,
Me too,
body.
I love yoga.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have to be yoga if you want to. But I think what stretching does is it just gives you longevity. I mean, I've been teaching 20 years. Right. Why? Because I do yoga. In addition to all those other things. And thank God, knock on wood, I've never had an injury. Right. And I know. I mean, because I've been doing this so long, I know what works. Yeah. And I don't have strains and pulls and tears. Right. Nothing's torn. Nothing's strained.
And then you just told us your age, and you look amazing. And you probably feel amazing.
I keep saying, when I just added kickboxing to the roster, and I taught kickboxing like 15 years ago. In DC, 60 women, packed, sweat, box, kicking. Mm-hmm. And when it was time to teach again, I just got my old notes and said, okay, I'm going to do that. I didn't say, man, I wonder if I can still do a hitch kick. I do hitch kicks. There was nothing that I can't do today that I did 20 years ago.
For someone who is in their, because I have a lot of friends who are moms. They're in their 30s, some of them in their 40s, and they feel like they've lost it. Their children are teenagers. They didn't focus on their fitness. They're not focusing on themselves. They don't focus on self-care. They don't feel like they have the time. All the excuses that moms and regular people make. Sure. Do you feel like it's ever... What kind of advice would you give for someone like that?
I just think you owe it to yourself. Don't let your life go by. Yeah. Don't. You know what? I was raised by a mom who put all 6 of us ahead of her needs. And then we all left, and she's home, and she doesn't have a life. Yeah. I'm like, I love my mom, but I don't want to be like her. Yeah. I feel that, yeah. I'm not sacrificing me. Yeah. And then I'm going to live my life 20 years later. So I say the same thing. Live your life, your best life, while your kids are little. You won't have it 20 years from now. You owe it to the kids. Yeah. Show them that you are important to you. Back in the day, parents sacrificed for their kids.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't want to. I'm just going to be different. I want to live my life. I want to feel sexy when my babies are little. I don't want to wait to feel sexy. I don't want to wait to feel good. And here's the thing. You can. You can have your best life while your babies are small. You owe it to them. Because I remember my mom, she went out on a date because my parents divorced. I was so happy for her. But she only went out on like 2 dates in the whole time that my parents divorced when I was 12.
Wow.
And I'm one of the oldest of 6. Mm-hmm. And I just remember being so happy that she was happy.
Yeah.
I'm like, my mom, she put lipstick on and she feeling
That's
hot.
So cute.
And I felt so good.
Yeah.
And she only did that like twice. And I just think the same thing. Our kids like to see us looking good. Let's going out. My husband and I go on date night. They know mom is getting dressed up and going to be sexy and dad's dressing up and they're going out.
That's
and
awesome.
That makes them happy. It really does. It shows that you should be important to yourself. That mom is happy. And I just think it's not just about I'm sacrificing for my kids. These moms that are letting themselves, I hate to say letting go, because you could still be eating right and gaining weight. I mean, you
can not be eating because you're so stressed out.
Yes.
You still, that's bad.
You're not letting
habits.
it. Yes, I'm just gonna eat, a protein bar and
right.
water. That's not
or
self-care.
A snack throughout the year. Yeah.
Right. So that's not. So kids see everything. They see it, and they see. Oh, there's nothing like seeing your mother happy.
And I feel like whatever you do, your kids, they're like sponges, A. And B, whatever good habits you start to show them that you do for yourself, they're going to do.
Yes.
There's I don't know if you like Shonda. She
Rhimes from
Scandal?
Scandal?
Yes. So she has a book that I read called The Year of Yes. And she is single, has no interest in getting married, and has 2 children. And when she started writing The Year of Yes, she talks about how one thing that she had to learn was to say no as well.
Right. And
she started going out more and spending time with her kids, but also learning to put herself first. And she said in the book, exactly what you said about, I had to teach my girls that individually you have to take care of yourself and that self-care is important. So I had to show them, like, I'm getting dressed up, I'm eating well, I'm working out, to show them that you have to take care of yourself, and that mommy cares for herself, so you should care for yourself. Right. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
So what's amazing is you can tell them all day, take care of yourself. They will do what you do, not what you tell them. So they need to see mommy eating healthy, because they will eat healthy. If they see mom never eating, they're going to grow up and they're never going to eat. Or mom doesn't care what she looks like. Or mom, not that she doesn't care, won't take pictures. I know a lot of women that won't take, or and if they do, they put somebody in front of them. And then you'll look back and say, man, there are no pictures of mom. She never, it just warms a child's heart to see mama happy. And you could put on a happy face and feel unattractive or feel, and they see that. People see that, and so I just don't want women to sacrifice. The reason why I feel so good at this age is because I lived my life. I didn't wait till I lost 5 pounds or 10 pounds to feel pretty, or I just took care of myself the whole time. I'm taking care of them. And I think I'm a great mom. I think you can take care of you and your kids and you still can be a good mom. Yeah. You don't have to sacrifice your life and say, wow, I'm not going out. I'm not going to buy myself anything. I'm not going to work out. But because I'm putting it all into my kids. That's almost selfish. Believe it or not, because they want mama happy. Yeah. And so I think if I was to stay at home, which I was, and I wasn't liking what I saw in the mirror, right? I made myself a project. And okay, we didn't have a lot of money. I didn't belong to a gym. That I said I'm going to write a book, and I'm not going to say the title because somebody's going to use it. But
no, and I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I have so many questions I want to ask you.
I know. I said, when I was at home with the kids and lost my identity trying to find out who I am, I said, there's so many things I can't do. I can't afford to belong to a gym. Mm-hmm. I can't leave my kids because I don't have a babysitter. Right. They're not in daycare. Right. So I can't leave the house. So that I can't list was crazy long. Wow. How about the what can you do, Debra?
Right.
I said, let's start with the things you can't. What can you do? I said, well, I can drink 64 ounces of water every day because I'm in the house. That's something that water helps, right?
Water does help.
What else can I do? I can put my babies down for a nap, move the table, and I can work out every day for 45 minutes. What else can I do? I'm like, and this was back. I'm like, felt like I wasn't being challenged intelligently because I was just with the kids. So I'm going to learn a word every day. And honestly, those were the 3 things that got me out of my funk. Wow. I learned a word every day. I drank 64 ounces of water, and I worked out every day for 45 minutes to an hour. I could do all of that in my house. That's all I could do. But those 3 things changed my life. I opened a studio. Wow. From that.
Look at that.
From 3 things that I can do. So I know that there are women, I work, I'm tired, I got kids. Okay, that's your I can't list.
What can you do?
What can you do? Let's start with that. Maybe it's only one thing. I can only drink water. I can at least drink, maybe I can do 5 push-ups every night. I can do that. Maybe I can hold a plank for 3 minutes every night. Maybe I can...
3 minutes is a long time.
It's a very long time, right? But you know what? Those 3 things, or those 2 things can change your entire life.
It's true, because for me, I have little things like doing yoga before I go to bed, getting enough sleep. There's like a couple of things for me that are important. Yeah. My friends laugh at me because they're like, you're such a grandma and you're always going to bed. I'm like, I have a full-time job. I have my own private practice, and I also have this podcast. If my cup isn't full, yes, and if I don't feel mentally and spiritually there, and if I don't get enough sleep and I can't produce. Right. How can I produce and be able to be present when Deborah's talking to me if I'm falling asleep?
Yes.
So
that's huge, though.
It's huge.
Sleep.
It's so important.
Yes,
I love sleeping.
I know, right?
Yes.
If you're always sleepy, you're not living your life.
Yeah.
You're going through life in a fog. So you know what? On that I can list might just be sleep.
Right. And maybe that's what it is. You know, some people only have to get 6 hours. That's fine. You feel like a spring chicken after that.
Right.
That's fine.
I know, right? I need more than that.
Right. Whatever it is, prayer, like you mentioned. Maybe now it's getting nicer. You go for a walk. You live in a warm climate. Yes. Go outside. We all know that when it's nice out, we're just all in better spirits.
Yes, right. Maybe that's where you start, you know. Again, for me, it was learn a new word, drink water, and work out. And it led to the best body I ever had in my life. It led to me feeling really good about me, which makes, I think my husband feels good about me because I feel good about me.
Right.
My kids are happy and healthy. Just those little 3 things that I did. So the 3 things that you do could change your life.
So find your 3 things.
Find your 3 things. Find 3 things that you can do. And be consistent. Once you start doing it. Because you know what? I learned to meditate during that time too. I was raised in baptism. I was in church all the time from like a baby. And we were those people that went to Bible study and, you know, vacation Sunday school. And I was a secretary of my Sunday school. And my mom I was a choir, just in church, praying and singing and praising. I didn't learn to meditate till I was married. And meditation is quieting the mind and hearing God. And I didn't do that. I was a prayer. Everything was out. I would get on my knees and pray, and then, okay, I'm done. And I never sat down and to hear Him. So I learned 4 things. Meditation was on my list, too.
That's awesome.
I'm going to sit in silence and be still. And let me tell you, it didn't happen right away. I know people say, how do you meditate? And
I can't sit still. I can't quiet my mind.
Yes. Yeah. I just forced it. I'm like, I'm going to sit here every day. And for me, honestly, after I worked out, was the best time because I had to put my kids down for a nap before I could work out.
Right.
So after I worked out, they were still asleep. Oh, this is my meditation time.
And your body's kind of coming down from the high.
Down.
So you're kind of already in a trance because you're
already,
tired.
because again, to me, that's the best time to meditate after a workout.
Yeah.
Because
that makes sense.
your body is just quiet. Because it's been up.
Yeah.
So your body's quiet. And if your body's quiet, it's easy for your mind to fall into that space.
Right.
Into quiet. And it's relaxing. And for the first time, I actually felt like I heard God. I know I heard him. It was no question that and that became my thing. I work out and then I meditate. And then now I meditate every morning. I won't leave the house without it. And don't wait for something to happen. Just be quiet. To me, meditation is an aerial view of your life. Because we're like ants. We're walking around and we're on the ground. We're close to the ground. Meditation is like, to me, I feel like I am in the sky and I'm looking down on my life. And I can put it all in perspective because we can get hung up on one thing. Oh, got to pay the bills, got to pay the bills, got to pay the bills. And that's all you think about. And I got to pay this and but then meditation is like step all the way back.
Right.
And look at their whole life. Oh, my kids are good. Oh, it's spring. And you start looking and seeing other things besides that one thing that you got to get. You go to bed with that on your mind. Yes. And you start, wow, look how far I've come, and so to me, that's what meditation does. And I think it gives you, it sets the intention for the day. Right. Because now you're focused on I think you become grateful because you look at everything in its totality. Exactly. And so I would suggest on that list of things, 3 things, make meditation one of them. And whatever you want it to be, don't expect it to look like other people. I meditate with my eyes open. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes it's just quiet. Right. Sometimes I look out at a tree. So don't let other people tell you what meditation should look and feel like.
Yeah, because it looks and feels different for everyone. I had a yoga teacher on the podcast, and she talked about the benefits of yoga, how it transformed her body, and how she meditates in the house, and she can quiet her mind, or she can listen to music, or she could be outside. And it really depends. It really depends,
and you know it when it happens.
Yeah.
And so don't let other people tell you what it should be like and what it should feel like. Just find out for yourself, and you'll know it when it happens. You'll feel this. I say it's almost like it's like joy. Like why am I sitting here so happy? But that's how I feel.
Euphoric,
really yes. And there's no reason. My husband will watch something, which drives me crazy. In the room where I meditate, there is a big, like a stained glass window. He will stand there and watch me. I'm like, don't watch. He said, you should see your face. He said, sometimes I just want to see your face. He's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know, but stop looking at me. But I said one day I'm going to videotape myself because I don't know what it looks like. I know how I feel on the inside.
Right.
He said it shows on the outside. So
that's what alignment feels like, probably.
Yes. Yeah. And
if you write a book, Debra, I'm buying several copies and passing it to everyone. I've learned so much.
Oh, thank you.
I just can't even. We could talk forever.
I know. And as you can see, I can. I got the gift of gab. But
I'm like pinching myself because I don't want to interrupt you because there's so much I want to say.
Yeah.
But I love this. This has been awesome. Would you say, because you went from, okay, I'm going to focus on Project Debra because I was a stay-at-home mom, and then you started doing workouts at home, and now you have Life for Fitness that's going to turn 4 in July. Would you say that you're successful?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you measure your success?
I love what I do. And I think if you get to do what you love, that's successful. I don't dread coming here. I don't dread anything, really. Right. I've had a job where I dread it. And I used to say, oh, please, God, if I'm going to work 40 hours a week, please let it be something I love doing. And I would say that. And I did sales for 6 years, and I said that every day. Oh, I got to be good at something.
Right.
And that's to me is success. And it's not about money. Doing what you love. And it's doing what you love, and you're affecting lives in a positive way. If you can get that combination, yeah, you're successful.
What has kept you grounded throughout these years?
Well, my faith would be number one. Faith is it, because this has been tough. This business has not been easy. When I say tough, I mean you don't make any money right away, and you don't do this for the money, but just to have a vision. And now it's not just me as a personal trainer, it was just me, but you have to hire people, and you have to train them to also have, hopefully they come in feeling, not that you all have to be the same, but I have to say, I like to hire people who love what they do.
Yeah.
And you can't always tell if somebody loves what they do until they're doing it, you know, and because in the interview process, you know, everybody puts forth their best effort, but there has to be some real, genuine love for other people and wanting them to get better. And that's what I want my staff to be. And thank God I make 8 instructors. They're all people who love what they do.
Right.
And that's the hardest part, getting your team on to be and that energy, the same energy, because all it takes is negative energy to throw everything, or one bad energy and throw everything out of whack, you know. And again, if it don't fit, don't force it. You gotta, and so just getting a team of like-minded, caring, authentic people has probably been the most challenging. And then, you know, we're kind of nestled. We're not on the main drag. There's no sign saying Lifer. If you come to Lifer, you're looking for Lifer.
Yeah.
You don't drive by and say, "Oh, that's Lifer." No. If you come here, you have to be looking for me.
Right.
And so I used to say that in the beginning, man, if I was on the main street. And then I thought, you know what? I was in D.C., had 60 clients. People found me without internet.
You can do it now.
And I can do it now. And I think your biggest, whatever you say will become true. I stopped saying, man, I wish I had a sign. I just stopped saying that. People find me.
Yeah.
And that's what I say now, and it's happening. So words have power.
They do. When I came with my friends to the Sip and Spin class in like March, I posted all of us here. You know, my friend was getting married, and we took a whole bunch of pictures. I had so many messages from friends that were like, "Oh my God, I've heard of them, and Debra's so great." And I took one of her classes. I had at least 5 messages of people who had come here for a class, or wanted to come here, and were inquiring about a membership, and wanted to know if they can come. So I'm excited I was excited to do this with you.
Thank you. So, I appreciate that. Yeah. So your question was the challenge. That would be the challenge. But I'm like, that's what I tell my kids all the time. Words have power.
Yeah.
You know, so my words also have power. Right. So I would tell another person the same thing. If you say, this is what's going to keep me from being successful, you're right. That thing. Right. Don't say it.
What do you think because you have a lot going on with your family, you're here now full time, you're the owner and the lead kind of instructor. So what do you do for self-care? And you mentioned a couple of things, but do you have a routine that helps you be present on a regular basis?
Oh, I told you, I get up I don't rush, and I don't like to rush.
Oh my God, I'm always rushing.
Oh,
that's the worst.
I do not rush.
Okay, good.
I do not rush. Awesome. I'll get up extra early to not rush. Yes. I get up in the morning. I don't answer emails. I don't do anything first. I grab my coffee and I go out I have an office and it's all windows. So I go and I have this stack of books that I read every morning. They're like daily meditation books.
Nice.
So I grab my stack of books and a journal. I write in a journal every day, almost every day. So I sit down, I quiet my mind, I drink my coffee, I read a couple of passages, they're Bible verses, and reflect. If it moves me to write, I'll write, and I meditate. That's what I do every single morning,
without fail. Have you ever had a bad morning where you don't do it?
Oh yeah. Okay. Where like we have a 5:45 a.m. class. Yes. That day I didn't get up at 3 to meditate before.
Right.
What did I do? I probably prayed and kept it moving. I mean, a quick prayer. You know what I always do? I say before I get out of bed, I say thank you. Before my foot hits the floor, I say a couple of things I'm grateful for.
That's awesome. When you feel like unhinged, you know, maybe a client came in with their baggage or something happens. Is there something for you to get back in alignment that you do?
Yes. I always find like, and usually it's not that the client, it's the way I'm feeling.
Okay.
And I'm like, why am I feeling this way?
Yeah.
And then I start to figure out, okay, when did you, because I'm fine in the morning. I leave my house. I'm always even. And if I'm feeling anxious, which I do, I try to find out where did it come from. Okay, because look, you left in the morning on your drive, you felt good, you were singing in the car, and then you did your class, you felt good, and oh yeah, that's when you felt bad. And then I'll ask myself, why did I feel bad? And then I won't let anybody else's stuff be my stuff.
It sounds like you're doing a little bit of mindfulness because you're reflecting about, you know, what happened. Like you kind of going through your day to figure out where was it that you felt tension. And then you're thinking about like, nope, I'm not going to let that happen again. That's awesome. Yeah. So practicing mindfulness.
I do. I'm like, and one thing I don't let is somebody else's stuff. If you're in a bad mood and you snap at me, I'll be a little angry. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that's their stuff. I'm letting that go. I'm not, that's their stuff. That's even if my kids, my husband, if he's in a bad mood. And I move away from bad mood. If you're in the kitchen in a bad mood, I'm going downstairs. I'm not going to be in the same space with you. I protect myself.
Yes, protecting your energy.
Yes, and my family knows that. Oh, mom just left the room. I know. And they feel bad because they know, oh, it was me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm a saint by no means because I'll snap too. But if I cause the pain or if then I want to make everybody else around me feel better. Right. I can't carry negative. That is foreign to me. That is not, we all have a baseline. Yeah. My baseline is very, very relaxed. And that should be everybody's baseline. That should be your norm. Yeah. But I do know that some people, their norm is agitation.
Yes. Their base,
their base is confrontational, and it's always
and if things are going fine, they're anxious because they think something bad is going to happen.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's my father. My mom is exactly the opposite. She can live unhinged. I can't. I'm like a baby. I need to get back to my safe baseline. My dad was always happy guy, and that was his base. And if he wasn't happy, then he's fighting to get back to just regular, every day. I don't like moody. I'm not moody. Right. I know moody people. That's not comfortable. You gotta work really hard to be agitated. It's work.
It takes a lot of effort.
It does.
When I get upset and I react, it takes so much energy out of me. Now I'm like, what's the point of me reacting?
I know.
Now I'm exhausted. I want to take a nap.
Right. I know, right?
What just happened?
I'm a marshmallow. I just want to be calm and happy all the time.
That is so
and
awesome.
I'm guarding that. Like, again, if you're in a bad mood, I'm moving away from you. I don't want to be near you.
I have to do a better job of doing that.
Yeah. Because then their stuff becomes your stuff.
And you don't want that.
No, I got enough stuff. I'm carrying your stuff too. Enough stuff. Carry your own stuff.
Yes. Debra, this has been so nice.
I know. I could talk to you forever.
I know. This was really nice. Yeah. And I really hope that you publish a book because I will gift it to everyone.
Oh, thanks.
Because you have a lot of good things. I think moms, anyone who cares about their fitness and self-care, you could kind of touch upon your faith. You could touch upon so many different things.
Right. I think so. Yeah. I think I've lived a life. I feel really comfortable, and this is a journey that I can vouch for that it works.
So where can people find Life for Fitness Studio, and where are you guys located?
We're at 20 Jefferson Avenue in West Hartford, across from Home Depot and BJ's. And now our new landmark is Chick-fil-A. And so I tell people, we're near Chick-fil-A. And it's like, oh, I know where you are.
Right.
And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And come check out the studio.
Awesome. Do you have any specials going on for drop-in classes or membership?
We do have right now it's Buddy Week, and we do that once a month.
Oh.
Where if a member can bring as many buddies as they want for the whole week. So we do that every month.
Every month?
Every month there's a week it's called Buddy Week.
That's awesome.
And so if you've been here once, you can come again and you can bring somebody for free.
Okay.
And you can bring them multiple times that week. We have a two for $20 Lifer special, 2 classes for $20. A lot of people come in. It's only $20, so you're not committed.
That's awesome.
We have several packages. You can pay as you go. You can buy 5 classes, 10 classes, 25 class pack. We have monthly unlimited, which is the best deal to me because you can take all the classes you want under and you can get in your cardio and you can get in your weights and you can get in your yoga and really think about a program. So
we'll have to come back and take advantage of my free class from
you
Sip
do
and
have
Spin.
a free class. That's
I
right.
know.
That's
now I know
right.
which one I want to take.
I know, right? So, and make sure it's mine. But I
Yes.
make 8 instructors now. All of my instructors are really, really good. And
you have how many?
I make 8.
Oh, you have 8, but
8
you're the lead.
I teach the most. I teach 10 classes a week.
Okay.
And because I love it.
Okay.
I would teach more. I'm actually trying to teach more. But that's just 8 hours if you think about it.
Yeah.
But this is a happy place. One thing about owning a studio is very few people come in here in a bad mood. Or they come because they don't want to be here. You know, I've worked jobs where people don't want to be there.
Right.
This is not one of those places. You voluntarily come here.
Right.
And I think people come here to get a boost.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful in here. I'm going to take some pictures so everyone can see, but it's beautiful. You have the huge quote of what lifer means, and it's very, like, pretty. Yeah. Which, I don't know if you like that word, but...
I do like pretty.
Yeah.
It's not gritty. It's a studio.
Yeah.
It's a boutique studio.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I designed it that way. There's nothing wrong with the warehouse look. Right. I designed a place that I would want to go work out.
Right.
And so this is a place I would like to come.
It makes me want to work out, and I never want to work out.
I know, right?
But thank you so much, Debra, for taking your time out to do this.
You're welcome.
And hopefully you'll come back on the podcast one day to talk about your book.
Absolutely.
Yes, we can promote your book.
Yes.
I'm a big supporter
I
now.
actually have a title for the book.
Okay, so. We can talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Hola, Basic Latina listeners. I'm Stacey Lopez, and I live and work in Hartford, Connecticut. Shout out and gracias to Amneris for inviting me to this episode with Debra Fountain, the owner and the founder of Lifer Fitness Studio. So I joined Lifer Fitness almost a year ago after a decade of struggling with a complicated relationship with my self-care, with eating right, with working out consistently, and more importantly, with not practicing self-love enough in my life. And I'm still a work in progress. And right before I joined Lifer, I finished grad school, and I was determined to not only celebrate that milestone, but also detox from that experience and the 20 pounds that came with it. I wanted to get my body and spirit feeling good. I wanted to feel recharged and stronger. So I checked out spinning classes, dance classes, and some free yoga opportunities in the city. And when I was visiting some of these different places or checking out studios, I noticed that some were expensive, felt cliquish, or didn't seem friendly or welcoming enough to beginners. And there was not a lot of instructors or participants who looked like me in these spaces. And I don't know about you, pero I know that I couldn't feel comfortable sweating, my insecurities away in a place where white folks act like they invented yoga and that self-care was all about candles, juicing, and no carbs. Because my self-care included arepas, music, and cookouts. So I really needed my fitness spaces to affirm that. In my search, I luckily came across Lifer Fitness and Debra. I was excited to support a business led by a woman of color, so I signed up and showed up to my first class. So fast forward, what to expect in Debra's cycle or spin classes. Her energy is awesome. It's contagious and will make you work. Her music is great, and she's always taking song requests from folks in the class. And whether you're new to cycle or you've done it before, she walks you through what to do and encourages you to do what feels right for you. And As someone who has not been in many fitness spaces that are exclusively led by women of color, I really value how Debra and her instructors are so encouraging, and they model a holistic approach to wellness, right? It's not about trendy diets and fast results. It's about having fun and feeding your mind, your body, and your soul what it needs. So one Saturday, I'm on the bike in Debra's class, looking around at the other folks in there, women, some men, various ages, but mostly all the folks were white and middle class, and there was a handful of POC. And I started wondering, what would it be like if Suavemente was playing in the background and I had all my sisters and hermanas in a cycle class? So I approached Debra with the idea of a private event promoting her business to women of color in the area. And she loved it. And together we co-hosted the Spin and Sip Social, a special wellness event for women of color, in honor of El Día Internacional de la Mujer Trabajadora, or also known as International Women's Day. And we did this in March. The class sold out quickly, and something beautiful that emerged was that some women sponsored tickets for other women, whether they knew them or not, just so that they can be in the class. And I'm not surprised that that happened because we're always being someone's fairy godmother. That event and my conversations with some of the women who attended really reaffirmed for me just how necessary it is for more health spaces in our communities to center Black and brown women, right? To be more intentional about making a studio, a gym, a community rec center more inclusive and culturally affirming. I think that sometimes we don't see enough racial and ethnic representation in mainstream fitness and wellness programs or in the media. It's been my experience that far too many of the messages that I, as a Latina and as a woman of color, receive and internalize about my body and messages about what wellness looks like are negative. So magazines, for example, will tell me that I'm plus size, not skinny enough, my skin doesn't glow enough, not beach body ready, not organic enough, and so on. And as a woman of color, if you're in a predominantly white school or workplace, like I often am, so many of us are already feeling like an imposter. And we're getting the messages of you're not good enough or smart enough or qualified enough. So for me, I need to be in a wellness space that really challenges these negative internal and external messages about my body and about what health and wellness looks like. When I work out, I don't want to feel like an imposter or be the only person of color in the room. I want to feel like me and my body can take up the space that it needs. And I want to be in a space where I can have fun and where I can laugh. Something else that I've noticed on this journey of doing and feeling better this year is that when it comes to health and wellness, there is so much of a focus sometimes on the individual. And the community or collective aspect in our health is not emphasized enough. And what I mean by that is that sometimes what makes it difficult for me and so many of my sisters to achieve wellness is not that we eat junk food every now and then. It's the result of the environments we're working and living in on a daily basis as women of color. Some weeks I can't balance toxic stress, racism, workouts, family drama, and get my meal planning done. So I haven't found the blog or the Pinterest board for that. So if you have, please share it. So seriously, what gets me through on those days is my community and mi cultura. They're critical sources of strength for me. Like I can't reach my goals without the friend who nudges me to go on a walk, sometimes instead of the regular happy hour, or the prima who reminds me to be compassionate and gentle with myself after I ate my feelings on a bad day or week. It's these community connections and being in a space like Life or Fitness that have helped me heal, grow, and shift my thinking from short-term results to really thinking about long-term health for me and my family and my community. Debra often says during workouts that it's about you pushing you. And I think this is true. And it's also true that our health is about our community and how our community can nourish or drain or ground or even inspire us. So that's my 2 cents for this episode of Basic Latina. Long story short, mi gente, trust and follow Black women. It's good for your health, especially if they're running your workouts. So if you're curious about spinning or some of the other classes, I hope you check out Lifer sometime. And I hope that you find what you need on your own wellness journey. Ciao.